Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Elephant Talk. I had the absolute pleasure of talking with Eleri Ward today, and honestly it was such a inspirational, motivational chat. I feel like I learned a lot and it was really interesting learning about Eleri's journey from musical theatre onto her Sondheim albums and the uproar on social media from it, and then onto her original music and the wonderful brain behind it all. If there's something that I'd like you to do at the end of this video, it is to go and check out Eleri Ward on Spotify or wherever you listen to music. She also posts wonderful music videos which you can see on her YouTube channel. All the links will be in the description below, or if you're on Spotify I'll pop it in the bio. Now sit back and enjoy this episode. Hello, Eleri. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. Like I just said before we started recording, I have been such a fan of yours for such a long time. Probably since lockdown, I think that's when I started seeing your
Yeah.
music, your voice pop up on all the socials. So I'm excited to jump into that. How are you? How are things?
I'm good. I'm very happy that spring is here. It's actually like bearable to walk outside and the sun is shining for longer, which makes me very happy. I feel like I come alive again in a new way when spring hits, and it's my favorite season. Like
Yeah.
spring and fall have equal and opposite reactions for me in a way that feels very satisfying.
Yeah.
And I love springtime. So that makes me very happy. And I'm releasing new music, which makes me really happy. And it's all original work, which has not been my primary focus over the past, 4 years at this point. So to be in that flow of things is very satisfying. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. You said so many wonderful things then. I'm such a sun person. Like you said, like spring, as soon as the sun's out, morning, I've got my
Yeah.
coffee, like the sun's out, I'm ready to work, I'm ready to go. Definitely fills me with a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about your new music, your original music.
Yeah.
You've just released, so this is going to be the third song, I guess, for this project that you're working on, because you've
Yes.
released There You Go and Float as your two
Yes.
singles. How are they going?
Good. I feel very grateful for the people who are just on the ride with me, regardless of what wacky stuff I'm doing. 'Cause it feels like I'm starting over again from my Sondheim covers being what they were to now doing something that is ultimately very different. But I think the thing that feels very gratifying to me is the music that I'm currently putting out actually is like me with a capital M.
Yes, that's so
Um,
important.
yeah, because I think a lot of people who discovered me through my Sondheim covers, that's all they knew of me, right? And it was acoustic, it was indie folk, it was soft. And what I think people don't know is that was me using a genre and a style to tell the story of that project, of A Perfect Little Death, of Keep a Tender Distance. And it was a lens that I was using to look at Sondheim's work through.
Yeah.
It's not my home base style. It's not the style that I write music in. I can pull from those influences and I can use sprinkles and sparkles here and there, but my favorite type of music is electro-pop music. And I make electro-pop music, and it might have, ebbs and flows of hard and soft and some of those sounds that people might recognize me for. But I don't listen to folk music.
That's so interesting because, like, I mean, one of my questions is like, what are your inspirations? So I'm so intrigued, and that's so different. Like you said, I was introduced to
Yeah.
your Sondheim covers, your indie folk covers, soft acoustic guitar, and now to hear that it's electric, I love that. So is your third, so the next song that's coming out, your next original song, is that going in that direction as well then?
Absolutely.
And
I just am sort of currently obsessed with blending hard and soft textures. So a lot of the songs that I'm releasing and like the album that I've been working on
mm,
really ebbs and flows between harder electronic sounds and then softer acoustic sounds. So every every single track on my upcoming album has at least one acoustic element to it, whether it be piano or guitar. There are also like three songs that have little banjo textures on it as well. Um, but this is my first time making beats. It's my first time producing everything myself and producing all of my MIDI sounds and my synths and
mm,
everything. And like I don't know what I'm doing. I never really do. I don't even know how to play guitar necessarily. Like I've never had a lesson. I don't know any of the chords. I just hear something in my head and figure it out. And that's kind of the approach that I have to everything. Like
yeah.
I don't know how to make beats, but I will press some buttons and figure it out, you know?
I
So
love that.
I just know what sounds I'm attracted to
Mm,
and what sounds make me feel that like inner thrill that when I listen to certain songs, I get that feeling. So that's the feeling that I really listen to when I'm making my own work.
yeah.
If I feel that little flame rise up inside of me, then I know that's the sound that feels satisfied. Um, so yeah, I love playing with kind of juxtapositions of textures and balance, honestly.
Yeah.
And also just like my personal taste. I'm like making music that I want to listen to.
That's so important actually because I feel like I also write my own music and so many times we're trying to fit in a certain box and what does the audience want? What do radio stations want presented? Like, we're trying to think of all this and
Yeah,
it's actually like let's go back to what I enjoy. What do I want to listen to? Okay, let me make that because that's important. And I love how, we don't have to fit a certain genre. You can make your own genre of music and
totally.
fit into that. And I love that. And you are so experimental with your voice. Is that going to be something that you're going to have on the EP as well? Like all,
Oh my God, yeah. Like I'm actually a little afraid of when I have to perform all of these songs live because I use like the lowest lows and the highest highs of my voice in so many expansive ways. But that also brings me such great joy. I love, I think the thing that makes me the happiest about making music is prioritizing playfulness,
mm,
like using that sense of exploring my own voice, my own resources musically. Like I love staying curious of, okay, well, what would happen if I use my voice this way? Oh, okay, never done that before, but that's cool. And so there's a lot of that in this
yeah,
music. And also, my Sondheim stuff was very subdued and it was using my voice in a very specific way. And I mean, I will always have a break in my voice, so the yodel is forever.
but you've
Like,
made it your thing. You've made it like
yeah,
so strong in your work and a positive thing. So many people
yeah.
are afraid of experiencing the break, you're like the flip, right? It's like I
Mhm.
don't want to hear it, so I'm just not gonna see what's up there. But I love how you bring it out, you let it shine, and it's so. I mean, that's something that I would love to include and work on, but I really have to focus on on the
But
flip. So
yeah, I mean, so much of it has to do with our own
mm,
physiological setup. Like our
yeah,
bodies are all different, which means our voices are very different. And growing up, especially as someone in musical theater, I was always taught that that was not a good thing. I was always taught to erase that and have one voice.
yeah, oh yeah,
And yeah, and like there are certain people in the world who naturally just have one voice.
mm,
Like no matter what range they're singing in, it just is the same color all the way through. And I have like five different colors depending on where I
You probably have more because you're so experimental. You're like,
That's true. It's like, yeah, like five base colors and then like add a little bit of this one to this to make this other one, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I remember just being so jealous of those people growing
Mm.
up because I felt so sh my voice was like shattered in these
Yeah.
multiple pieces. And it wasn't until the pandemic hit, that's when I discovered Caroline Polachek and I fell in love. She is my inspiration of all inspirations. I love her to death. And the main reason is because I heard Door for the first time, and now it is my ultimate favorite song. I walked down the aisle to that song. It
Wow.
changed my life because I was sitting on my couch in lockdown. I heard this song for the first time, and I was just hit with all the things that I love. Like
Mm.
in using crazy intervals and using vocal textures in all these different ways, using these expansive, stretchy vocal choices, and she also has a flip in her voice. And I had an immediate reflective moment of, Ellery, you do realize that all the things that you love about this person's voice and about her music are all the things that you've kind of been conditioned to suppress in your own, right? Like,
Yeah.
really hypocritical of you.
Check
And
yourself.
yeah, I totally checked myself. And then from that moment on, I kind of just made a pact with myself that I was going to start just using my voice in the way that it naturally comes out. Like I can trust that my te technique will have my back. I've been
Yeah.
taking voice lessons since I was 8 years old. Like that is instilled. I can trust that that is there. But what happens when I don't think about it? What happens when I don't think about manipulating
Yeah.
things and trying to sound like XYZ?
Yeah.
Then from that moment on, that's really when I started to fully embrace my natural voice as it comes out without any second thoughts. And it changed my life.
Absolutely. That's so important. And I just me as a singer, I love the way that you're speaking about this. I feel like you're so in tune with like how you hear your voice as an instrument and how you've gone through that progress and that must have been a journey as well. From a musical theatre background myself,
Yeah,
was
yeah,
always told that I sounded really dark when I sung. I needed to be brighter, and obviously that is also a placement with the larynx, so you're having to manipulate that to get higher and brighter and push out forward and twang. And I was like,
yeah,
okay, cool, I can do that, but then that's not where maybe I
exactly.
naturally want to lie.
Yes,
So now it's like having to kind of pause. Okay, what am I naturally doing? And that sense of letting go that you just said as well, trusting that your technique has your back, has your support.
yes.
But then that feeling of letting go is scary. Did that take a while to, what was the transition like from going from a musical theatre to then
Yeah.
kind of fully
Um,
embracing?
I mean, it's funny because I I also studied songwriting in school as well. And it's funny because listening back to some of my like college demos, like those little instances of my voice that is like fully me now were there. I just was kind of using them through the filter of the technique that I was currently practicing at that time.
Mm.
Um, so I feel like those glimmers were there and they always have been there. It just was, okay, what happens when I actively embrace them rather
Yeah.
than just like leave them one little corner
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
room of my you know my voice and my technique and my artistry. Um and so I don't think it was as difficult as maybe it would have been if I were still fully in a musical theater space. Like, I think it was really helpful that I was alone in my apartment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it was helpful that I didn't have any outside forces kind of fucking with my vacuum of
Mm.
playful experimentation.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
like no one's limiting that. You're allowed to kind of actually just explore and see what happens if
Yeah.
you do go a little bit further. What happens if you go down this route with your voice or this
Yeah.
route? It's so like musical theater, it's like everyone's trying to sound like one specific type. But that's why it's so important that there are now, Sarah Bareilles, Lin-Manuel Miranda, who just come forward and bring out a different type of typical musical theatre voice, right? There's differences now, even though they're not as much as, as if you're completely focusing on your own voice, but at least there's a
Yeah.
little bit of diversity in
Yeah.
voice colors.
Yeah.
I think that's
And
important.
that's
Um,
something I care a lot about. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like I studied probably, I think I left 10 years ago. So then it was all like mixed belt, hi, yeah, which is still a
Oh
thing right
yeah.
now. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's nice how it's evolving. I think it will continue evolving, showcasing different voices because we don't all sound the same.
Yeah. And I just get so frustrated that,
Mm,
okay, the world of music is so vast. The world of music is filled with individuality and all of these different people with different sounds and textures and points of view. Why can't we implement that into musical theater? I don't get it. And even when people try to, it still kind of ends up
yeah,
homogenized in some
yeah,
way. And so this is like a part of my mission statement in life. Like I want to be a part of expanding the sonic landscape of musical theater
mm,
and mirroring the world of music in the world of musical theater because I'm sorry, I go to concerts and I hear every word that the artists that I see are saying.
mm,
They don't need to be overly enunciated. Like there is something to be said about like I still get the story that an artist is telling me at their own concert and it doesn't sound like let me tell you a story
yeah.
like you
Over
know
the top. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah in that way because it is authentic because it is genuine to their
Yeah.
voice I actually feel the story even more so like yeah this is I care a lot about this subject.
Yeah. And so musical theatre is still something that's very important to you, even though you're focusing on your own
Yeah,
exploration of your own original music, but musical
yeah.
theatre is still strong.
Yes, I mean, I have a complicated relationship with it, obviously. But it's still, I love the art form.
Mm,
I love the art form, and I think the art form actually gets conflated with the genre that it actually was never born to be. It was never born as a genre. It was
yeah.
born as an art form that then became this style that people associate nasal belt and like major pronunciation with.
Yeah.
Um, and it actually is an art form that is a container that you can put any genre and any style into. And that is what I'm most interested in
Yeah.
because all stories are different and they are told differently by different people. Why would I use the same sound to tell different stories? That's my main question. And I mean, I'm like, I mainly work on new musicals as an actor. I'm also writing a musical, and I, I think I have like a lot more conditions, in regard to how I want to interact with musical theater now than when I was younger. I think when I was younger, I was like, yeah, like anything, I'll take whatever. And now I'm like, I won't take whatever. I will only take the things that actually speak to me that feel aligned with my vision, my taste, my preferences. And I just won't settle for for less, I think, at this
Yeah.
point.
That's
Yeah.
so important. And I feel like, once you graduate, you're in that mode of like get an agent, audition, get
Yeah.
any job that you can, no matter what, go, go, go. And then suddenly you kind of sit back and you think, does this fit in with where I am, who I am as a
Yeah.
person? I love that what you just said there as well, that it's why should everyone's story sound the same?
Oh
Why
no.
should we all then, I don't know, why should
Yeah,
we
like
all have the same sound? Like that makes no sense. And that's
right?
so true. I haven't thought about it like that. So that's so enlightening for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and being a British actor, like musical theatre performer, we're taught to sing Americanized as well. So that's something else that I have my
Oh
own
my
issues with.
God.
That then when I started focusing on my own music, I was like, whoa, my vowels are dark. Hello. Like
Yeah.
I don't have bright, like, Americanized vowels. So that was something that I had to work on as well. Oh, it's so interesting.
Yeah. Like you have to return to yourself.
How do I talk? I
Yeah.
have to question like the most what should be a
Right.
basic fundamental thing of just talking every
Yeah.
day to then putting it into your own music.
Yeah. There's so much unlearning to do that is like tethered to growth. Like
Mm.
growing is unlearning.
As unlearning, absolutely love
Yeah.
that. How do you, going back to your original music, do you approach every song in the same way? Like, is it lyrics first for you, music? How does that kind of stem?
Yeah. I am a melodic writer first and foremost. So whatever lyrics come out in the process, like they might come attached to the melody. Um, but usually the melody is like the it's kind of like the baseline of everything, and then it creates uh, a mold for lyrics to fit into for
Mm.
me. But at the crux of all of it, the story and like how I'm feeling and what my bottom line is has to come first above everything. And that's where the melody comes from. It's
Mm.
like I'm feeling this type of way. Thus, oh, I have this idea. This is what the song is going to be about. Um, and the melody just arrives out of knowing what the song is about. And that's why like some of the lyrics do come with the melody attached.
Mm.
And then some of it is just like I know what the arc is, so I know what the lyrics need to get to, but I just don't have the specifics yet. And sometimes it it has been a chord progression or a beat or something, but even then, like that's still attached,
Yeah.
rooted in what I know the song is about.
Mm.
Like I think some people can just write songs based off of vibes, and I'm like, no, I need a narrative.
Yeah.
I
What's
need
my
a narrative.
motive?
Yeah, like truly. And I think in that way there is a sense of theatricality in what I
Yeah.
do because it is very narrative based. Like there's a point
Mm.
to every song that I write, even if it's not, even if it's far more poetic and abstract than any theater music that people would associate with. But yeah, I think melody is king to me. Um, Even as a listener, melody is king. And
Right.
so I think that also goes back to writing with my own tastes in mind. It's like I just really look at my tastes and preferences as my North Star of when it comes to my own writing. Like I love a melody that moves and I love a melody that has like all sorts of different intervals and it doesn't just stay in the same place. Like
Yeah.
I love movement. And I think that also informs then like after I kind of have a sense of the melody, what chords support it because and sometimes the chords can be the reason why my melody changes because I'm like, "Oh, this actually is like a cool surprising thing. How does that affect the melody going this other place?" I love borrowed chords so much. Like it's rare when I have a song that just has every chord in the key and it's like I
Yeah.
just love movement.
Mm.
That's what makes me feel things.
Yeah. And
So,
it definitely shows in your original music. I'm just thinking of Float comes to mind, like the
mhm.
title of the song, Float, how you move around on that. I just love that.
Yeah.
That's just so special. And so I love listening to things that make me, oh, that's new. I've not heard of that. And you
Yeah.
definitely have that with the movement of your intervals, the movement of the melody. It's so yeah, it's definitely moving and free. I think you've got so much freedom in your voice, and yeah, for all the work that you've done to get there, it's
Thank
lovely to
you.
hear and see.
Makes me happy. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Are you someone that tends to, do you let your songwriting like take a while to kind of complete and finish, or do you want to stay in that moment because you're so storytelling based, right? You
Yeah.
find that narrative, you find that point. Are you wanting to stay there and try and get that story finished?
Yeah, it depends. I am very much like, oh, the heat of the moment, we gotta act fast. Like we gotta go. Like the train is coming in the station. I gotta hop on or else it's gonna leave me forever. And so like I am one of those people who will just like go into a hole for many hours writing the song because I'm like, I don't know, that's like my favorite feeling when I am because I write as I'm like making my demos. Like
Okay.
I'm one and the same most of the time. And I just love the feeling of like entering it, like opening up Logic and starting to like put the basis of everything together. Um, and then like 4 hours later, I come out and I'm like starving, and because I haven't eaten, like I also like look at my phone for the first time and I'm like, oh my God, I missed all these things. Like I love that feeling so much. And I mean, sometimes it's like if I write a song on guitar, it's very much just me and my guitar for
Mm,
the first like draft of it. And then when I bring it to recording a demo, it kind of changes a little bit. And that can, my songwriting process is anywhere between like 15 minutes and maybe like a couple days.
yeah.
But even then, like I have to be, like you said, in the wave.
Yeah, the wavelength.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to be in the wave, and ride it until it's hitting the shore. Like I need to be
Yeah.
like spat out onto the sand, and then I know it's over. Like I feel complete, you
Yeah.
know?
And is
Yeah.
that just for the main like the lead line? Obviously the vocal harmonizations can come later, or do you feel like that as a project needs to happen kind of quite close together?
It happens all at once.
All
Yeah.
at once. You hear everything.
I do.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. I love
Yeah.
that.
And then, I mean, some things I'll add in later because it's like, I know that I hear this thing in my
Mm,
head that's in this part, but I don't know what sound it is yet. Or like that can come as like a cherry on top towards me like finishing it. But
yeah.
background vocals, I kind of hear on with it. Like, I am such a vocal stacking person. Like, I just hear a million tracks. And I
Yeah.
hear like, and I also hear the way it's produced in terms of like, okay, this has to be panned here, and then this has to be like this type of filter on it, and it has to like pan from left to right. And I feel music as a world.
Mm,
And I feel like there are all these different things that make it a world. Um, and so they all kind of come up at the same time
yeah.
and tell me what kind of world it is. And then it's just a matter of me taking the time to like dismantle all of them so as to get them out.
Unpack it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And put the pieces together. That's so,
Yeah.
I love how like connected you are with that. It's very fascinating. That I feel like for me it's definitely I have to focus on one thing at a time. Then I'm like, right, now let's just listen to this and see what comes. And then that's like cool. I can hear things quite nicely and I know where it wants to go. But if I'm focusing on the lead, then it's just a lead. I
Yeah.
cannot
Yeah.
let me just focus on the lyrics. It's so again, everybody is different, every voice is
I
different, and
know.
it's so fascinating.
Yeah, that's what makes it all so cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you have, say you're very, very busy, do you have things that you do to kind of switch off from all this? Obviously, it's hard because you love what you do. I have the same issue. So it's like, I want to live in this. Why stop? But do you have those moments of just chill?
Oh, yeah, I've been having a major one right now. I'm like, Ellery, you have to, like, you can't be running on all cylinders all the time. And I'm someone who I'm very self-motivated and I don't wait around for other people to do things for me or open the gate. And so I think I've come to a place where I'm so used to doing everything myself and like, okay, well, that person's not going to do that for me, so I'm going to get it done now and,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. That now I'm like, yeah, but you don't have to be doing that all the time. And there's a level of impatience that I have to grapple with all the time too. And I think that's a part of it is right now I'm really just like practicing patience.
Mm.
And with that, I'm practicing how doing nothing doing nothing is still something.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't need to be doing everything because it might not even be doing all the things that you want it to do.
Yeah.
Um, I'm one of those people who would rather like run on the hamster wheel going nowhere than just like sit down and have a
Mm.
moment because I'd rather at least like feel like I'm doing something, feel like I'm moving, even if I'm not.
Yeah.
And that's actually counterproductive. That just makes you tired while going nowhere.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I am stepping off of my hamster wheel. I journal a lot and I'm also a total woo-woo girly pop. So like I do a lot of astrology and
Mm.
tarot cards and I journal about all of that stuff. And also now that it is springtime, walks.
Oh, yeah.
Walks are the best. So I'm happy to have walk season back in my rotation of just turning it off and like being by the water and breathing in some fresh air,
Mm.
listening to some music and just walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so important because I went through a stage wherever I would take a break, I'd feel guilty because I felt like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm wasting time. I
Yeah.
need to do something. Like you said, like I'd rather be that hamster on the wheel, getting somewhere. But actually, that's so it can have a negative impact because then you're tired when actually something does pop up that you can put focus on, and then yeah, you're tired. Do you think it's
Yeah.
quite a common trait for creative people to feel like that? Like they feel especially independent artists, like, that they feel like they have to keep doing something.
Probably. 'Cause I have that thing of like, all right, well, if I don't do it, no one will.
Yeah.
So then nothing will happen if I am not the one doing it. And while that can be true and is true a lot of the time, it doesn't actually mean that I have to be doing it all the time. And um, I also think a difference too is like personality type as well, because I'm very type A. I
Mm.
love organizing, I like planning, I like putting everything together. I'm not a procrastinator. That gives me anxiety. And so so I'm like, all right, let's just get everything done and in place and packaged and like, with a bow on it. And then I have other friends who are not that way at all, and they look at it very easy breezy and they have no issue kind of letting things flow. And
Mm.
um I admire that. And I mean, every strength also is a weakness, right? So like I'm sure those people have maybe the inverse problem that I might have. But it's all about just like learning from different types of people and different instances that we
Mm.
witness to kind of combat the things that we might create as obstacles for ourselves. Um, yeah, yeah.
You don't all have to have it. You don't have to have everything right now as well, right? Like, there's.
Oh,
I feel like we can make our own deadlines, so we can just space things out. Sometimes it does feel like everything has to happen right now, but taking those breaks are is important,
yeah,
and it works the same the other way around as well. Like the people that feel like
yeah,
procrastinating is that gets their creative energy flowing. If they have too much of a break, coming back to it, that's like it's so interesting, just the
yeah,
differences between people and how people work.
I know.
It's so intriguing. So you mentioned the guitar and mentioned like Sondheim and the guitar, the soft kind of indie folk with that. How did I know a little bit about this because, like I said, I've known you
Mhm.
from known you known of you from your Sondheim two albums of that. How did the guitar happen for you? How did that? Why was the guitar the instrument that called you?
Yeah, so I was in college. I was entering my senior year, and my friend Julia, who was moving to New York, um, she, we had like a marketplace for students,
Mm,
and she posted to the group like, I'm selling this like cheap guitar for $40. It was like a Jasmine guitar for $40. I was like, well, you know what? Because I've been playing piano my whole life since I was
mm,
5, and that's always what I wrote music on. I never really had another like home bass instrument. And I felt like I was hitting a plateau in in that way. And so when I saw $40 guitar, sure, why not? And so I bought it, and it was the worst guitar I've ever played. But I'm so grateful to my dear friend Julia for selling it to me, because I was such a baby. I think I had sort of dabbled in guitar a little bit when I was younger, but I
mm.
never had my own guitar. And I knew like G, C, and D. Like I think that's like all I knew. Um, and my rhythm was terrible because I don't know, like piano is just such a different feeling,
Oh yeah.
and my visual relationship to
Mm.
notes is it's like chronological, right? Like it's like A, B, C, D, like it's all there.
Yeah.
And with guitar, it was like I have no idea where anything is, and my hands are being used in a completely different way, and my rhythm feels like it's being challenged in a new way. But it made me write music in a completely different, like, capital V voice. Like the music that I was writing on guitar was very, very different than that of piano. And I thought that was very interesting. And so then I went into my senior year, like teaching myself how to play guitar and writing new types of music that I had never written before. And I think that was my first kind of dabble into that softer side of myself.
Mm.
And then and that was it was 2016. And then I like moved to New York. I actually got a fairly okay guitar. And then it wasn't until 2019 that one day I had Every Day a Little Death stuck in my head, and I was like, I don't like listening to musical theater. I don't like listening
Mm.
to cast albums at all. And so like when I have something stuck in my head, I either listen to it on repeat or I like sing it and play it. And
Yeah.
so there's only one option there. And so I was like, okay, I don't know what this will be, but like I know a couple of chords, and I had begun to teach myself how to finger pick, very like baby finger picking. And yeah, I like came up with this little arrangement that sounded very Sufjan Stevens to me, because it was like, it's about death and pain and the joy of it. And it was like acoustic.
Yeah.
And so I posted on my Instagram, which I've been posting videos on my Instagram since the beginning of time for like no people who cared. Um, and one of my friends uh commented like, "Oh, you should make this a series. This is so good." And I was like,
Mm.
"Okay." And then the next day I made my Johanna reprise arrangement, and like kept making them over time. And like I mean, it was really only just like friends and family watching these videos. Like no one
Yeah.
cared. I was just doing it for fun. Um and then it popped off when I posted them to TikTok in
Mm.
2021, and then it changed my life. And I'm really grateful for all of that for many reasons. But speaking of guitar, it I was always so afraid of playing guitar and performing with guitar. Like my first solo shows in October of 2021, I
Mm.
only played 10 songs. I was so scared of my stamina, and I was so scared of like, am I going to be able to like play and sing in a way
Yeah.
where I don't feel over, like, how am I going to be messing up things? And of course, yes, yes, you are going to mess things up. Like, I've messed things up every time I've performed. It's
Yeah.
fine. Like,
We move on.
yeah. And like, but from that moment on, I've just continued to prove to myself, and this is a hill I will die on. I say this at almost every show I perform, that you don't have to know what you're doing to do it. Because I don't know any of the chords that I'm playing. I don't even know the keys that I've made these arrangements in. I don't
Yeah.
know what I'm doing on guitar, but there's a freedom to that. There's a freedom of not knowing. Whereas on piano, I know everything that I'm playing, so then I
Yeah.
get a little technical about
Yeah.
it. And on guitar, I don't have that. So I'm
Mm.
just going with what feels right, with what sounds right. And then I've just like practiced guitar the way I want it to be good.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'll forever hold with me. And I'm really grateful to like have been, okay, you're the guitar girl now. You have to like lean into this.
Yeah, I
And
guess they it blew up for you, so that's kind of like got to stick for a little while that you've got
yeah,
to, even though it's something new. I like play very minimal guitar, like some chords, some like,
yeah.
but I'm not, but it's a completely different thing to sing and play. Not only are you, but you're also finger plucking as well.
Oh my
Like
God.
how,
I I'm excited to not play
Hmm.
guitar and sing. Like, I'm
Yeah,
really excited to embark on this new era of my music where I will ultimately like have a hybrid of tracks and people performing with me. And because like I really want to use my body. I
yeah,
really want to use my physicality to embody these songs and perform these songs in a way that I just haven't with my other projects. And I I also just like I hate splitting my brain in two. Like I hate that.
yeah.
I'm not a great multitasker to begin with. So like it takes a lot of focus for me to do what I want to do on an instrument that doesn't feel like a second skin to me. Like
Sure.
my voice feels like it is, we are one and the same. Like I don't have to think about it. It just comes out and it's how I want it to be. But guitar is not that at all. So to put my mental energy into something that isn't even like my number one passion,
Hmm.
thing that feels like home, has felt a little at odds with my artistry.
Yeah.
And I'm I'm just really excited to move.
And feel your body be free. No,
Yeah.
that's great. That's great. It is it because so much of your focus is then on something like you said, it's a second, rather than it be your first instrument. There's something that you can just feel free with. You're kind of putting a lot of it's not an equal balance. You're kind of putting more of that energy into something that's kind of maybe blocking you from being completely
Yeah.
free. So that's exciting. That I'm happy for you then.
Thanks.
Absolutely happy that you're just kind of going free. So is it? Are you going to have a band with you, voices with you, tracks? How's that?
Yeah, I right now it's looking like I'm gonna have a keyboard player and a guitar player and then do tracks
Yeah.
and have my backing vocals on tracks. Especially because I feel so connected to the way I've produced these songs,
Mm.
that I want to perform in the world of that production, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're proud. You've done this yourself as well. Like you've
Yeah.
produced everything, right? You've got
Yeah.
your own. Did you do it at home, like in your own studio, or?
So at home and with my dear collaborator, Alan Tate, who has been on almost all of the projects that I've released.
Mm.
He engineered everything and co-produced in the way of like keeping me from being neurotic. He's really good at that. And also just like we have a lot of fun when we record together, and some of those fun moments actually, I'm like, wait, we should actually do that. So
I
he
like
also
that.
he inspires certain choices just by being a friend. Um,
Mm,
and so all of my beats and MIDI and like synths and all that jazz, I recorded at home.
mm,
And then I re-recorded like because I made all my demos at home. And then I use those as like a direct template for me to record uh guitar, acoustic piano, because I don't have acoustic piano. I live in New York, and anyone who has a piano in New York, you're rich. And um the little bit of banjo that I did and vocals.
mm,
So like everything that was like in the acoustic world of these songs, I recorded in studio with Alan.
mm.
And everything that lived in electronic world, I recorded literally right here.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was kind of a blend of those things, which makes me so happy. Like that's what I love. I love that blend of that liveness,
Yeah.
um, and like producedness.
It's fun collaborating as well, like because otherwise you can be stuck in your own world, which is wonderful anyway. Like stay there
Yeah,
because you can experiment. But then also when you bring that with someone else, ideas get thrown around. Some of it can be done at
yeah,
home, some of it can be done in the studio. That's really fun.
yeah. Especially because I always have like 90% of what I want to do, and
Mm,
like I'm very decisive as well. But then there are the things where I'm like, I know I want it to evoke this feeling, and I am not. Like I said, like I don't know what I'm doing. So like if Alan can give me vocabulary to
yeah.
attach to the feeling that I'm having, I'm so grateful for that. Because when I'm alone, I'm like, well, it sounds like beep beep boop boop.
Make that make sense.
Yeah. And like somehow this man understands what beep beep boop boop means, and then he translates it into something that actually makes sense. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that sound.
That's exactly what I meant by that. Beep beep boop
Yes,
boop.
yes, he is so good at that. So,
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
Are you doing obviously like social media promotion for it as well? Is this something that you whilst you're going through and creating in the creative process, do you have to also think, okay, let me just pop up a phone and film that social media
Yeah.
side? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm recording, I definitely just like leave a camera on sometimes to record me in the booth, but like I I'm mainly focused on what I want the final product to be because I'm making all of my own artwork and all of my own visuals and videos and everything.
Mm.
And I am a very visual person, so like those types of things come naturally to me. But it is a matter of like, okay, how am I going to execute this with no help and like no money and no one on site with me, you know? And so like I literally have like the There You Go video, I
Mm.
recorded literally right here.
Yeah.
And just like whipped it out. And same with the float video. I recorded it in my bedroom and in my parents' pool. Um, and the Venusian light video, I actually rented a studio like a big girl. But like it was and I also recorded it in here as well. But like I just have very clear ideas of what things are supposed to look like. That is what I make that, and then I go, how can I now make this into content that is marketable and
Yeah.
palatable from a social media lens? Because to me, the visual world is what amplifies my musical world
Mm.
beyond just here's the song that I'm like lip syncing to, or just me in the booth. Like, I don't know, there's something about the vibrancy of the
Yeah.
videos and like the visuals that I dream up that helps me um kind of like make my music more dimensional on a
Yeah.
social media scale. So yeah, I'm always thinking visually.
They definitely stand out. You've got a very specific visual feel to like you like they're kind of vintagey dreamland. The
Yeah.
colors are very like bright, but not too bright as well. Because it's got that effect over
Yeah.
the videos. So that's something that you wanted.
Yeah, yeah. I there's this like once again, I just love the juxtaposition of hard
Yeah.
and soft and how that manifests itself in every aspect. So I love a grain. I love some dust. But I also love color. And I think there
Mm,
is just like I don't think I'll ever be able to escape a level of camp in what I do visually. And like that, even like my visuals are theatrical because I am theatrical. And I love how that theatricality can interact with something that at the root of it is very sincere.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so like, yeah, I love having a wink in what I do.
Having
Um,
fun.
yeah, I mean, isn't that what it's all about? Like we can feel our feelings, but also
Yeah,
like feel good about it.
yeah.
Because like a lot of my songs, like Float and Venusian Light are probably the most uplifting and positive songs on this album that I'm working on. And I love having an outlet
Mm.
for my I see you, or like I'm judging this situation, or I'm criticizing this behavior. Like there is an outlet through music that makes that part of me okay to express. Um, and that part of me, I think there's like a buffer in my music
Mm.
because of the camp,
Yeah.
because of this like spice and this kind of a character that I am in those types of songs. Like There You Go is so sarcastic and kind of bitchy, and I love it. Like it's so fun.
Yeah.
Um, but it's also like I am critiquing this behavior, and otherwise, you know, if you just like speak on that, you're just like a bitch or you're just judgmental or whatever. But like if I'm like poisoning someone with lemonade because they are allergic to sweetness and positivity and optimism, then it's okay.
That is fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so and the juxtaposition, like you just said, you can really now that you've brought it to my attention as well, I can really start seeing like within the music, within the like instrumentation of the music, but then with the visuals as well. So it's again going back to how connected you are with the story that you're telling and how connected you are with the visuals and just everything coming together that it just makes sense. It's visible in every element of your music, and I love that because it's just so connected. You said earlier that you're not a very big multitasker, but you do. Your brain works a lot for you, right?
Yeah,
You
like
see a lot of things like they're going
yes.
like all elements.
Yeah, there are a lot of things. I have a lot of ideas and I ultimately have accrued a lot of skill sets, but I have to do them like one at a
Yeah.
time. Like the ideas are always like whirling around and there's a lot going on, but I have to like pull them down individually.
Sure.
Um, Otherwise I short circuit. Sparks flying out my
Yeah.
neck.
Ah,
Yeah.
so much going on. Well, so this album of yours that you are working on, is it complete? Do we still have elements that like songs that are still in the process?
Yeah, so all of my songs are written and recorded. It's just a matter of finalizing, mixing, and mastering at this point.
You're at that stage, yeah.
Yeah, and I take my time with that stuff because mixing is like the most pivotal stage
Oh
of
yeah.
everything. And I I just have very visceral responses to every mix that I get back. And that, yeah, once again, that's my North Star is like the way I feel or what I hear in my head. If it's not satisfied, then that needs to be changed or, it's all about it's all about that like internal gut instinct of
Mm.
if it feels exactly, I don't know, I keep on seeing like a puzzle, and when the puzzle pieces all fit together and the image is fulfilled, that feeling, then I know it's good. That and then I know
Yeah.
we're ready to like master it and finish her off. Um, but when even if there's like one little puzzle piece that doesn't quite fit, like no, we have to find it. We have to
Yeah.
find that satisfaction.
I mean, it's important because, like you said, once it's kind of then onto the mastering stage, it's like we can't go back. We need to make sure you don't want
Yeah.
to then have the songs out and then think, I
Oh, I
wish.
wish I just did that one thing that I kind of was thinking about, but I didn't say it. You know, like
Yeah.
you don't
And
want to
like,
have regrets sonically, you know?
exactly, it's they're your babies.
Yeah.
You want to be, you're proud of them. You want to make sure that they sound good.
Yeah,
Cool.
exactly. Mm.
Oh, well, this has been such a lovely time chatting with you about music, about your own music, about the covers. Do you think you'll go back to doing covers again, or are you kind of focus on your original music? There is no wrong or right answer. I absolutely love your
Yeah.
music either way that you go.
Thank you. Yeah, at this point, no. I have so much to say
Mm.
that I can't say through other people's words.
Cool.
And also I want, if I am writing a musical, and I hopefully am gonna write more musicals, and I have such a clear vision of the type of palette that I use as a writer and a producer and all of those things. I want people to fully know that part of myself. And there's so much
Yeah.
more to explore myself in that realm that I want to continue digging into and then sharing what I find with people because I think, yeah, like we were talking about before, with covers, you can only get so much of me,
Yeah. There's a
you
bit of a
know?
limit, yeah, on that.
Yeah, yeah. And I want people to know all of me, artistically. And so I'm doing that through my own work and my
Nice.
own writing and my own sonic palette that I think is very specific and different than what people have heard.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's super exciting, kind of going into a different territory, kind of allowing, your audience who love you already, they're going to hear something new, but then bring in some new people as well into this new chapter of your
Yeah.
original music life. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. It's scary, but it's also awesome. I mean,
Mm,
I knew the choice that I was making of like closing my Sondheim chapter was
mm.
going to be a like uncomfortable transition for me because it was successful, right?
Yeah,
But I knew that if I kept doing it, I would just end up being derivative of myself. And I'm
yeah,
not going to do that. Like I have to go where my inspiration takes me, and my inspiration has been taking me somewhere very different than that.
yeah.
And I owe it to myself to listen to that, you know?
I hope you realize how inspirational you are as well, just talking to you. Like, just like how I hope, like, whoever's listening as well to this, just if they're wanting to do a like focus, they're a bit confused about where they're going, what
Yeah.
direction they want to go in with their own music, or if even if it's not to do with their own singing. It's just, I think you've said so many wonderful things that hopefully people will feel, that inspire people and they want to explore and not be afraid. It's good to be afraid. Like actually like embrace those feelings, but then kind of roll with that and see where it takes you. So I think it's important. So yeah, I definitely, from my perspective, want to say thank you because I feel inspired. I'm gonna start writing some more stuff now then.
That means so much to me. And yeah, like it's the do it scared, you know. You
Yeah,
can be scared, but still do it. Don't
do
let
it.
it hold you back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I have one more question before we go.
Yes.
If just the final little tidbit, if you could perform with anyone, like be it dead or alive, who would that person be and why?
Caroline Polachek.
There you
She
go.
is my idol and icon of all things. And I've never respected an artist more. Her sensibility, her take on music is so unique, and she's not afraid to be
Mm,
misunderstood. And I think that's something that I'm always trying to adhere to, because she just expresses things her way. And some people are going to be like, that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen, and I don't get it. But she is not doing anything to be understood. She's doing it to express.
Mm.
And I also just feel like our voices would sound really good together.
Yeah.
It's like, yodel in harmony or something. And I really admire her world building.
Mm.
She is an artist who doesn't just write a song, or doesn't even just write an album or a collection of songs. She creates a whole world, not just sonically, but visually and
Mm.
energetically. And I was speaking on this the other day. She did an interview with something, I think it was Variety, a while back. And she said, I've never had a suggestion box and I never will. And I just really love how she only listens to herself.
Mm.
She doesn't take into account other people's opinions, what people want to hear from her. Please do this. Like, I'm your fan, listen to me. Like, she doesn't do that. And I think her autonomy and authority over her art is something that is kind of unmatched to me. And her strangeness is unmatched. Her uniqueness is unmatched. And she's also like one of the best performers I've ever seen. And that is my Caroline Polachek soapbox that I could go on and on about. But yeah, he
Yeah.
is the one person who, if I could perform with, I would die happy.
Life complete. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so beautifully put. I think you posted that actually, that the
Yeah.
suggestion box. I think they just remembered that.
Yeah. I
Um,
think about it
oh,
all the time.
yeah, that's so important. Again, it fits with what you have just been talking about for the past hour about like honing into who you are, not apologizing for it, not trying to fit into something else as well. Just bring forward who you are. I think that's so important.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much again for everything that you've shared here. I wish you all the best with your original music. I can't wait to hear this new song, more songs, all, your album and future projects.
Thank you so much. This was a joy. I love talking about all of these things. It brings me a lot of joy. So
Me
thank you.
too. Thank you. I'll see you soon.
Yay!
I think it's important to remember that even though we are always on the go and always creating and wanting to better ourselves as musicians, we need to take breaks, and they are important. So for anyone who feels like as soon as they take a break, they feel guilty, they feel like they need to get back up and do something, take a break. And if you've listened to this episode and got all the way to the end, thank you as well. Remember to go and check out Eleri Ward on all the social media, on Spotify, all of the platforms. And from a personal point of view, it was such a joy to talk with Eleri because I have been a fan since the Sondheim days. So it was really amazing to sit down and chat about what's to come. Well, thank you very much for listening to this episode. I hope you did enjoy it. Do go and hit that subscribe button, the bell button, and thumbs up button. And if you are listening over on Spotify, do hit that follow button. Remember, I have recently released a new single called Moment With You. This is all leading up to the full album, which is coming out very, very soon. Support those independent artists. There you go. I will see you very soon for another episode. Bye.